If there's ever been something that you really want to achieve and money's been involved in some way, shape, or form, then creating a financial goal can help you get there. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing tips to help you create financial goals that you can stick to. Hey, I'm Flora and welcome back to Financial Elevation, the place that brings you the tips and tools to spend smartly, build wealth, and level up to financial freedom. When you think about something that you really want to achieve, it can be very exciting to think of the way that you'll feel when you get to the end result. But when you start to look into the details, it can feel overwhelming. And this couldn't be truer than in situations having to do with money. Goal setting can be a very helpful process to help you set a clear direction and a path forward, especially when it comes to financial goals. So today I'm going to share a few tips with you to help you get clear on the goal that will help you achieve the outcome that you want. Now let's start off with talking about why you should set financial goals. Goals can help to give you a sense of direction, especially if there's a particular outcome that you want to achieve. Not only that, but they help you track your progress so that you make sure that every action that you take helps you get closer to your life vision, making that a reality. And once you've identified your financial goals, you can make sure that you integrate that into your spending plan so that you can dedicate money every month to make sure that you get closer to that goal. So it goes without saying, but you should identify goals that work for you. And there are a few things that you can keep in mind as you're designing your goals. First, I would recommend going back to your life vision and revisiting it and reviewing what you included in that vision and what it would take financially to get there. Once you have this on paper, you can reverse engineer. So essentially working backwards from what you need in the future to where you are now to design goals that will help you take action step by step to make that life vision a reality. And it's important to keep in mind to be realistic about the time, energy, and resources that you have so that when you're creating your goals, you're creating ones that are manageable and that you can tackle. And don't be afraid to be ambitious with your goals. You can break down an ambitious goal into smaller goals that will accumulate over time to help you get to the final end result. So when it comes to creating goals, in a recent video here, I talked about using the SMART framework to design goals that you can stick to. This framework is great if you want to create realistic goals that have a specific aim in mind and within a particular time frame. Now, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-driven. And the best way for me to explain this framework in practice is to actually go through an example. So say someone says that they want to save money. Now, the action is specific, saving money, but what we don't know is how much money they want to save and in what amount of time they have to actually save that money. Versus someone who says that they want to save $6,000 in the next 12 months so that they can add it to their emergency fund. Now, the action here is specific again because they're saving money, but it's measurable because we know that it's $6,000. It's results-oriented because they want to add it to their emergency fund. And also it's time-driven because we know that it's in the next 12 months. Now, whether or not it's attainable is a question that this person would need to go back and revisit their spending plan to understand if they could essentially set aside $500 per month to contribute to their emergency fund. And if you don't know what a spending plan is, make sure you check out this video here where I talk about what it is and how to build one. I'll make sure to include the link in the description below. All right, so we've gone through how to use the SMART framework to create goals that are realistic for you. But again, I want to point out some of the common mistakes that I see when people are designing their goals so that you can avoid those pitfalls. So first, I'm going to start off with often people are not specific enough with their goals. And again, this is why working through the SMART framework is so important because you need to be able to design a goal that has a specific aim in mind within a particular time frame that's realistic for you to achieve. Next, the other thing that I see often that people make the mistake of is trying to cram way too much into too little time. Again, working through the framework is one way to help you avoid trying to put too much pressure on yourself to achieve a particular goal within a time frame. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is too because a lot of times when people try to cram so much into that small amount of time, they get frustrated that they're not meeting their deadline and then they give up on the goal. And that's not the overall aim here. It's actually to make sure that you achieve the result. So once you've worked through the framework, if you still feel that your goal is very ambitious, I would also recommend to break this down into mini goals that you can achieve within a smaller amount of time. That way, as you're accomplishing those mini goals, you're accumulating your progress to contribute to the overall goal that you had in mind in the first place. Next, the other pitfall that I see sometimes people hit against is letting fear get in the way of achieving their goal. So they might get really excited of designing a particular goal that they want to achieve, but then as they start to do the work, they get afraid that they might not be able to meet the deadline, or they might not be able to achieve the particular goal, or that they don't have the skills or resources to do it. And in this case, I say the best way to overcome the imposter syndrome and any other pressure that makes you feel like you can't achieve the goal is to actually take a step back and look at what's the immediate next step that you can take to reach the goal. Don't focus on what you need to do 3 months from now. Look at what you can do tomorrow to make sure that you're making progress against your goal. By breaking this into smaller steps that you can take from a day-to-day basis, you're again still making progress on your goal, but you're also starting to accumulate that progress to help you get to the end result again. The last point that I wanted to bring up is that often people don't review their goals often enough, or they don't update them to match their personal situation. Once people set these goals, sometimes they don't take the time to actually look at whether or not the actions they're taking right now are helping them get closer to the result that they want. And this is really important because the goal at the end of the day should give you a sense of direction, but you need to make sure that you're taking the right actions to get to the end result. And if you need to, that you're course correcting for anything that has changed in your personal situation, or if you need to just change the direction of the goal. So again, this is important that you take the time to book some time in your calendar, review your goals on a regular basis, at least once a quarter or monthly or even weekly if it makes sense, to make sure that you're taking the right actions, not just any action, but the right action in the right direction to get to the end result. So once you've got your financial goals on paper, the next step is to take action. And one of the best ways to do this is to make sure that you incorporate your goals with your spending plan. The important thing here is that you look at your goal and how much money you would need to achieve it, and make sure that you have dedicated money each month in your spending plan to help you get closer to making progress on that goal. And what this could look like is a number of different things, but an example here is, for instance, if you have a particular savings goal, what you can do is make sure that each month in your spending plan, you're dedicating money to a particular saving account that you have as a line item in your plan. Another example too is looking at cutting back on debt. So if you're trying to pay off a credit card or a particular loan, you can create an expense item within your plan that you allocate money to each month to make sure that you're chipping away at that debt and you're making those repayments on time. And having this integrated within your spending plan works for a few different reasons. So first of all, you're making sure that you have dedicated money to help you achieve your goals and that you're making progress against them month by month. You're also automating some of this process in the sense that you know that you have money that's being set aside to help you achieve your goals. And then lastly too, it's a way for you to review the progress that you've made on the money that you've set aside to help you achieve your savings goals or any debt payments or anything else that you're looking to invest in. And so the last tip I have for you is to make sure that you're reviewing your goals on a regular basis. Your goals will be only as effective as the progress that you're making against them. So it's important to take the time to review if the actions that you're taking are helping you get closer to the end result. And so what does this look like? Well, first of all, set aside some time on a regular basis to review the actions that you're taking and whether or not they're helping you get closer to your goal. And if you have trouble with consistency, I would recommend making this a standing appointment in your calendar. When you're reviewing your goals, what you should be doing is looking at what did work in terms of the actions you're taking, what didn't work, and is there anything else that you need to be trying to help get you closer to reaching your goal. The point of this exercise is to make sure that these goals are staying relevant for you and helping you get closer to your life vision, and that you're taking actions that help you reach that so that you're making the most of the time that you have, the resources that you have, and the energy that you have to help you make your life vision a reality. Now, I hope you found this video provided you with lots of tips to help you get started on creating realistic goals and helping you get closer to your life vision. Make sure to leave us a comment below on what tips you tried out and what's working for you. In next week's video, I'm going to be talking about how to get financially ready for 2021. So until next time, and keep making smart money moves.